What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing a move update that you've probably already forgotten about, and one that certainly a lot of my opponents forgot about, and that's Focus Blast on Dragalge. Now, is this move really that useful in this meta? Without Gunk Shot, you're completely walled by Azumarill, which is basically on every single team. However, I have two Pokemon that do pretty well into Azu, and most Azu were in the lead anyway, so I'd often swap after chipping a ton with my Dragapult, and you'd be surprised at the amount of times that I got off a Focus Blast that my opponents just weren't expecting. Also, I'm running Water Gun as the fast move to have better play into the Mud Slappers and other steel types, since I'm using Dragalge as the safe swap with Narganadel as the closer. With that being said, let's just get straight into the question of the day. Alright, quickly just to interrupt before we get into the question of the day, I want to say that I've just recorded the full commentary for the battles, but I'm watching the playback right now, and whilst my microphone worked perfectly fine for the majority of the commentary, unfortunately there were a few instances where it just made an awful noise, so especially if you're watching with headphones in, maybe turn the volume down slightly so that when those noises do come up, it's not quite as bad. But unfortunately, I don't think there's really any point me re-recording the entire video, because there's a chance that it just happens again. This has happened a few times in the past, so yeah, I think at this point it's probably worth getting a new microphone, but I'm not really sure where to look at. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. What's another move update from recent seasons that you think almost everyone has already forgotten about? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Let's go into the first battle, leading Dragapult into Azumarill. So, of course, we're going to see it in the lead here. We are going to throw a Shadow Ball pretty much straight away, I do believe. If the opponent's not running Ice Beam, then this will be a CMP tie as they reach the play rough. The opponent no-shields the Shadow Ball, and that actually puts them into farm down range if they're not running Ice Beam. The opponent goes for play rough, and that will allow me to go for a huge Astonish farm down. The opponent staying in, thinking they can get to a charge move, but they're wrong. Now they come in with Galarian Weezing. Honestly, not great for me, but we're going to go and full send the Shadow Ball, grab a shield, then swap into Dragalge. Now, Dragalge should be able to resist both the typical charge moves in this meta with Overheat and Sludge. They go for the Overheat there. Makes sense as it does a lot of damage, but I'm going to be able to make it to a Focus Blast. Now, of course, I could be running Outrage or Sludge Wave, and either way, it will do big damage, but it gets the KO up against the Turtonator. They come back in with the Weezing, throwing on CMP. Very good timing by the opponent, but it just doesn't matter at this point. They go for a Sludge. Sludge gets the KO. We can come in with our Narganadel, and I'm just going to go straight for a Fell Stinger. Fell Stinger is double resisted. It's not going to do much damage, but it will boost up my attack. We grab the final shield, and at this point I'm thinking, actually, you know what? If they full send an Overheat, we can just farm down with the Dragapult, so I no shield. It's just a Sludge, and the opponent concedes the match. So, GG's to opponent there. You can see in that battle, Focus Blast didn't really change the outcome there, because either an Outrage or a Sludge Wave would have been the same thing. But either way, we're going to see a Turtonator in the lead this time around. So a great lead for us. I'm not going to throw straight away. I don't want to throw on poor timing. However, I'm still going to end up throwing on not the most optimal timing, as I go for one Astonish, then fire off the Breaking Swipe, but I go for an undercharge there. That's going to allow me to get off one extra Astonish and get the farm down. Now they come in with a Azumarill. We're going to go for a Shadow Ball here. And if the opponent no-steals this, I think I will eventually swap into my Dragalge. Yet we swap straight away actually, and the opponent is going to fire off a charge beam. Dragalge will be able to tank anything they throw. They go for an Ice Beam. It is super effective damage, but then they swap into Ferrothorn, and this is one of the only matchups where having Focus Blast is actually huge for us, because Focus Blast gets the one shot. Typically, Ferrothorn resists everything from Dragalge, but we get that one shot, and the opponent just concedes the match. So, GG's top over there into next battle, Shadow Flygon in the lead. They're going to say swap into Azumarill. Now, honestly, it's not that bad of a matchup for Dragapult, and actually with a slight energy advantage as they have to swap out of that lead matchup, we probably win pretty comfortably. But we swap into Narganadel, and they actually go for a Hydro Pump, which makes literally zero sense at all. I don't understand that play at all, but either way, we're going to go for a Fell Stinger. I didn't need to, but I figured I might as well boost up my attack here, because if they come back in with the Flygon, a boosted Dragon Claw, if it goes unshielded, we'll get the one shot. Narganadel absolutely shredding through this team right now. Of course, they come in with Registeel. Registeel going to completely wall the energy, but it just doesn't matter at this point. We can fire off two boosted Dragon Claws. Dragon Claw number 2 already gets them into the yellow health range. We're now going to swap into Dragalge, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to resist the typical moveset here. I'm not going to bother shielding, but what I will try to do is full send another Focus Blast. They've got 2 shields in play, but their Registeel is super low, so hopefully they just let this go through. We're full sending it. I don't have to hit any bubbles here. Focus Blast will be enough damage to get the KO. However, the opponent actually shields that. I don't really understand why they felt like they needed to shield there. It was game over anyways, but GG's to that opponent. Into next battle, we're going to see a Dragapult into a Shadow Dragonite. Now, I'll be honest, this team, whilst we're a triple dragon, we have like not very good play up against actual dragons running dragon type fast moves, because as you can see, this Dragonite is basically shredded through my first 2 Pokemon, which is quite embarrassing. But either way, we do eventually get the farm down here, but honestly, we're not in a good position, especially since they come in with a Shadow, Alolan, and Sandslash. Yep, this game is completely over here, unless I'm able to land a Focus Blast somehow, but that is very, very unlikely at this point. So, gonna shield this up as they go for a draw run. I'm actually just gonna go for an Aqua Tail here. The opponent makes a very nice catch onto a Azumarill, and that's gonna be game over. There's nothing we can do anymore, so I'm just gonna concede the match. So GG's to opponent there, Dragonite, very difficult for this team. But into the next battle, a much better lead for us, as we're going to see Turtonator. So again, don't want to throw on alignment, so I'm going to go for the extra Astonish. And Dragapult's energy, unless we see like a Wigglytuff, is very, very good into basically everything else in the meta. So we're going to go for 3 Astonishes this time around, fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe is going to be shielded. I can still go for 1 extra Astonish, fire off the next Breaking Swipe, and let's see the opponent's going to no shield, let the Turtonator go down. They come in with a Azumarill, so again, probably going to fire off a Shadow Ball and then possibly swap into Dragalge. Or we might just stay in here, wait for the opponent to throw their energy. So let's see, the opponent is going to throw straight away. Now I can come in with either Pokemon, but actually I think I'm going to come in with my Dragalge, just in case they've got a Mud Slapper in the back, which they do. I need to get off those Water Guns. Water Gun is adding up already. Aqua Tail is going to grab the final shield from the opponent. We've actually put them into range where I think a Dragon Claw will get the KO, so I'm going to no shield. They go for Scorching Sands for some reason. Might just be a TM issue there for the extra drill, but either way, we're going to fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw does get the KO, and now of course we're resisting the bubble damage. Poison Jab, super effective, taking out Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top there into the next battle. We're going to see a Ferrothorn in the lead, so this is a good matchup for us. The opponent's just going to go straight for a Power Whip, probably running Thunder as the other charge move, in which case maybe they still should have farmed up to a potential Flash Cannon, but either way I could CMP tie them with the Shadow Ball, so I kind of understand just going for that damage straight away. I'm now going to swap into my Dragalge, and again baiting up the Mud Slapper, which is very nice for me because Naganadel is seriously going to struggle in this matchup. But now we've got the final shield from the opponent. At this point I'm going to let Dragalge go down. Draw run, of course, gonna get the KO there. We can come back in with our Dragapult, and I will just barely be able to make it to a Breaking Swipe. And I'm actually going to overfarm here. I don't think I really needed to do that, but either way, I'm going to fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe gets the KO. They come in with a Azumarill, and this game should be wrapped up already. The opponent swaps back into Ferrothorn. Absolutely fine with me, and I'm pretty much established that it's going to be Thunder as the secondary charge move here. They're not running Flash Cannon, however, I don't really care. I'm just going to shield anyways. We can go for a Fell Stinger, then fire off a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw, now that we're boosted, despite being resisted, will get the KO, and now we can just commit to a full Poison Jab farm down, so the opponent concedes the match. So GG's top home there into the next battle. We're going to see a Wigglytuff in the lead, so this is the worst possible thing for us to see in the lead. We're going to say swap into Dragalge, and we're able to bait out another Mud Slapper. We're only going to make it to 1 Aqua Tail, which is very unfortunate, but either way, we're going to grab a shield advantage in this matchup. And if we were on Dragon Tail there, first of all, they could have just stayed in with the Wigglytuff, but also, if they did swap into the Dugtrio, whilst we would have still grabbed that shield, I would not have put them into Astonish farm down range, so Water Gun definitely paying off for us in this battle. However, still not a good position. I'm still not able to swap out in time, so we swap eventually after taking 1 extra charm's worth of damage. Gonna go straight for Fell Stinger. Fell Stinger is going to grab a shield. However, the opponent's already at the Icy Wind, so not ideal for us. They're already going to debuff that attack boost that we just gave ourselves there, and they swap into Lucario. So unfortunately, just a triple hard counter team here. We can't really do much. We go for a Dragon Claw. It does respectable damage there. My only win condition is if they're not running Shadow Ball, so I'm committing to a full farm down here, but the opponent is running Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball gets the KO, and unfortunately we do lose that game. Even then, I can't remember how low that Wigglytuff was, so maybe even if we came out with a Shadow Ball loaded, we probably would have lost anyways. But either way, into the next battle, we're going to see a Ferrothorn in the lead. So again, just going straight for Power Whip, so that's fine with me. I'm going to no-shield that. Going to fire off a Shadow Ball just before they make it to the next Power Whip. And Shadow Ball coming through is going to be no-shielded. It gets the KO, and again, they come in with Azumarill. So I found a lot of the time that either we saw Azu in the lead, or we just took out the first Pokemon, and then they come in with Azumarill anyways. So we're now going to come in with Dragalge. We're able to bait out another Turtonator. This time, unfortunately, not going to make it to the Focus Bar. Blast before they do make it to that first charge move. So just going to settle for the Aqua Tail, but we grab a shield anyway. So this game is now already wrapped up. We still got both our shields in play. Azumarill has a lot of energy, but we just don't care. We can come in with Narganadel here, and we can fire off a Dragon Claw after 7 poison jabs, making sure to throw on good timing. Dragon Claw is going to grab the final shield from the opponent, and we just safely shield this up here as the opponent fires off the Dragon Pulse. They will eventually swap back into Azumarill, but we can go straight for a Fell Stinger. Fell Stinger not going to do much damage once again, but it will boost up our attack here, meaning we can Poison Jab, farm them down, and we can just Poison Jab, farm down the Turtonator, so the opponent concedes the match. So GG's to opponent there into next battle, Azumarill in the lead once again. So I do apologize, they're going to be slightly repetitive battles here, but that's not my fault. I mean, I've actually used like a load of different teams already in the Fantasy Cup here, used so much variety and still had some pretty decent success. So you can use variety in this meta, but people are just very much sheep. They'll just use basically what they're being told to use there. Azumarill basically on every single team. Unfortunately for us though, Altaria, another Dragon Breath user, we are really going to struggle in this matchup, and I don't think Narganadel is even going to make it to 2 charge moves here. So we go for the Dragon Claw there, realizing that I kind of need to go for the Dragon Claw. If I go for a Fell Stinger, even if they do shield, it doesn't really help me out there. So now we're going to come in with Dragalge. Dragalge, unfortunately, on Water Gun, so not going to be able to farm them down here. They go for the Sky Attack. They will actually make it to another Sky Attack before I even make it to an Aqua Tail, which obviously won't get the KO anyways, but they go for a Sky Attack there. They swap back into Azumarill, so we've only got a slither of hope here. We're going to swap. We have to swap, unfortunately, as they do just barely make it to a charge move. We can go for that Water Gun farm down, and then I'm just going to blind throw the Focus Blast. I don't care what comes in. We're throwing a Focus Blast here, and they come in with a Marwile on Fire Fang. Focus Blast does huge damage. If it was a Shadow, it would have got the one shot, but either way, Altaria still very healthy in the back, so we would have lost the game either way. But GG's to the opponent there. Into next battle, another Azumarill in the lead. Who'd have guessed? We are once again just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. Honestly, I think after a while, I did stop throwing the Shadow Ball straight away, because what happens here is they can no-shield this if they want to, grab my shield, and then just swap out of this matchup. So honestly, I probably would prefer to overfarm in the matchup there, but either way, the opponent stays in with Azu. They get fully farmed down, and then they come in with a Empoleon. They're then going to swap, catch the Breaking Swipe bait, which is very nice for them. We do debuff their attack though, which is pretty nice for us, and we can make it to a Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball, is this going to be shielded? Yes, it is, unfortunately. However, the opponent will throw their charge move. So at this point, they go for a Rock Slide there. Rock Slide gets the KO. We can come back in with Dragalge, and now we can go for a full Water Gun farm down. I could have thrown the Aqua Tail there on the CMP tie, however, I'm opting to go for a full farm down, and I'm looking to land a Focus Blast up against the Empoleon. However, it's going to be tricky. They've still got a shield in play, so what we're going to do is no shield that, swap into our Narganadel after banking the Focus Blast. I am desperate to land a Focus Blast in this battle. Obviously, I could have thrown my energy already and just either got the KO or grabbed the shield from the Empoleon, but instead we swap into Narganadel. We grab that final shield there, and we're able to make it to another Dragon Claw. This doesn't really make a difference here, as I'm still full set in the Focus Blast. And then I actually realized here, they still had Galarian Stunfisk in the back. It would have been so embarrassing if the opponent caught that charge move there, when I could have just gone for back-to-back Aqua Tails, but the opponent does not make that swap. We're able to take them out with the Focus Blast, get the Water Gun farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top over there, into next battle, we're going to see a Steelix in the lead. The opponent tries to swap and catch a charge move, maybe, I don't know. Obviously, I was not going to go for a Breaking Swipe there, so don't really understand that play. But either way, we're going to shield as the opponent goes for a Play Rough. We're going to go straight for Fell Stinger here, and this will allow me to go for a full Poison Jab farm down, coming out with a ton of loaded energy, and as well being boosted in the process. So, of course, they're probably going to come back in with a Steelix. They can go for a Psychic Fangs or a Breaking Swipe, but neither will actually get the KO here. Narganadel is a very glassy Pokemon, but we will just barely tank this, and I will get off another Dragon Claw here. So whilst we're boosted, I mean, it is resisted damage, but I might as well just throw it straight away. Dragon Claw is going to be no shielded. We can now come in with Dragalge, and I'm going to no shield once again. The opponent goes for the Psychic Fangs there, which is of course super effective. Doesn't do much damage, but it means these waterfalls from the Primarina will start to chunk. Now again, we are not running anything other than resisted moves to throw up against Primarina, but they're also committing to a huge waterfall farm down, which I think is their win condition. However, I will be able to make it to another Aqua Tail. Dragalge just barely getting there in time. An Aqua Tail from this range doesn't get the KO, but they had to no shield that. Now we can come in with Dragapult. Of course, I just shield whatever they throw. One Astonish will get the KO KO, and we can just astonish, farm down the Steelix. No point throwing a charge move there. We're able to take out the Steelix, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's opponent into the next battle, going to see a Alolan Sandslash in the lead. So this is really problematic for us. Honestly, don't really know what to do here at all. I am panicking for sure. They're going to go for an Ice Punch. We're going to go for a Breaking Swipe bait here, which is, I don't feel like it's that risky, except the opponent doesn't shield. So I guess I should have just gone and full sent the Shadow Ball. But either way, going to swap into Dragalge, and the opponent's now going to come in with Azumarill, which this is very bad for us. This is basically worst case scenario for us, losing the lead hard to a Pokemon that just beats my entire team, and then them coming into Azumarill. However, I choose not to throw a charge move there. Instead, now we can come in with Dragalge. We basically force him to throw straight away, and that will allow me to go for a huge Poison Jab farm down up against the Azumarill, come out with basically 100 energy here. I don't even have to bother throwing a charge move, which is very nice. And yeah, you can see we are very close to 100 energy. They're going to come in with the Sandslash. We're going to go for a Fell Stinger here, boost up our attack. I should still be able to Poison Jab, farm them down, despite it being double resisted there, but they swap back into a Flygon. So what we're going to do here, fire off the Dragon Claw, then what I should have done is swapped into my Dragapult, and this is a huge mistake. I thought I was going to make it to 3 Dragon Claws, but I'm not able to do so, and as a result, the opponent gets the farm down, coming out with the Dragon Claw loaded. What we could have done, of course, like I mentioned, is swap into Dragapult, probably grab the final shield with the Breaking Swipe there, and then, of course, I would win CMP up against a Flygon if they tried to farm me down, or if they just threw straight away. But either way, GG's to opponent there. Into next battle, going to see an Escavalier in the lead. This is just going to be an Aerial Ace, so I'm going to no-shield that. They then swap into Azumarill, so once again, we're going to come in with Dragalge, and this time it looks like they're running Ice Beam, so we are going to shield this. They are running Ice Beam, which means I will have to throw 2 Fell Stingers to get the KO in this matchup here. Well, of course, if they shield the first one, then I'm definitely going to have to throw a second charge move, and actually, I think I'm going to have to go for a Dragon Claw here. Fell Stinger is a worse move, and it is also single resisted, so and non-stab as well, but we actually end up grabbing a shield, so I'm going to shield there, thinking that they were very weak to Dragalge in the back. However, they've actually got a Mud Slapper in the form of a Alolan Dug Trio, so what we're going to do, land the boosted Dragon Claw, swap into our Dragalge. These Water Guns are chunking. The Mud Bomb actually doesn't quite take us out there, so we can come in with the Dragapult, get the Astonish farm down here, and we're going to come out with so much loaded energy. All we've got to do is not just randomly blind throw into whatever comes in, wait to see what comes in. It's Azumarill, so we go for the Astonish farm down, coming out with the Shadow Ball loaded, and Shadow Ball, of course, up against the Escavalier will be enough damage to take out the Escavalier, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to opponent there, into next battle, another Alolan Sandslash in the lead. So again, very bad for us, and actually this is slightly worse because they're on Powder Snow, so whilst both Shadow Claw and Powder Snow are super effective up against the Dragapult, against Dragalge and Dragalge, this is even worse for us, but we're going to go for a Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe does grab the shield, it does not get the debuff, and that is awful for me because I'm going to no-shield this, but Drill Run nearly gets the KO. They get the Powder Snow farm down. It is not looking good for us right now. We're going to have to come back in with Dragapult here. I will be able to make it to a Breaking Swipe. Maybe I should have just committed to a full Astonish farm down, but either way, we fire off the Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe gets the KO, and they come in with a Turtonator. So we still have play here. I will be able to get rid of the Turtonator in the one-shield scenario, despite being behind on energy. It just depends what they've got in the back. Now, the opponent actually goes for a Flamethrower there, which is very interesting. And I'm going to farm up and throw just as they're reaching the next charge. Now, if I went for Fell Stinger here, I actually think I might have been able to win this game because they shield that up there. I can now fire off a Dragon Claw. I would have been boosted, and they've got a Azumarill in the back. And whilst, yes, we have very low HP, if I just keep on going for these Fell Stingers, boosting up my Poison Jab damage, you're going to see by the time I throw my next Dragon Claw on the CMP type with the Play Rough, Dragon Claw gets them very low, although maybe still not quite enough damage there, unfortunately. So, of course, the opponent goes for a Play Rough there, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there. Potentially, if I went for Fell Stingers up against that Turtonator and I threw the first one a bit earlier, then maybe I could have won that game. But either way, into next battle, Azumarill in the lead once again. So going to shield this up here. This time we are over farming because there's no point throwing straight away. Shadow Ball is not going to get the KO right off the bat, and it just wastes all of my energy straight away. So instead, we're now going to fire off the Shadow Ball. Then we're going to swap into Dragalge, and this is where, of course, we are going to take super effective damage. We're completely walled. However, the opponent's actually going to swap out of this matchup and into a Lucario, which is absolutely fine with me. We can fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. The opponent realizing they actually can't commit to a farm down there. So, of course, there's no point me shielding here. They go for a Thunder Punch. We can come in with either Pokemon. I was thinking I might get off 2 Poison Jabs, but nope, just the one there. Gets the KO, and they come in with a Registeel. Now, of course, Registeel going to completely wall me, but it doesn't really matter. We are also technically going to wall their energy. However, anything they throw is almost going to take us out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But what we're doing basically is I realize my charge moves are useless up against Azumarill, so I might as well just throw them into the Registeel. They go for the Focus Blast. You can see that does so much damage, but it doesn't matter. We've got so much energy on the Dragapult. We can fire off the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball gets the KO up against the Azumarill. They come back in with the Registeel. I could bait with a Breaking Swipe, and honestly, I probably only need to go for Breaking Swipe and then Astonish Farm down, but we full stun the Shadow Ball just for the sake of it. The opponent is going to shield this up. They go for a Focus Blast, grabbing my final shield, but now we can fire off a Breaking Swipe, and you're going to see Breaking Swipe, despite being resisted, does get the KO from that range, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to opponent there into the next battle. We're going to see a Turtonator in the lead once again. So, fine with me. The opponent's going to Safe Swap into a Whimsicott. We're going to swap into our Narganadel here. And I wasn't certain if a Fell Stinger would get the KO from this range. So, we're just going to shield this up here. Going to go for the Poison Jab farm down. If they come back in with Turtonator, then they are in trouble because the opponent is going to come back in with the Turtonator. We can go straight for a Dragon Claw here. Dragon Claw is going to do big damage in this matchup. They no shield. Now we can just go straight for Fell Stinger because Fell Stinger not going to do much damage. I will still be able to Poison Jab farm them down, so they swap into their final Pokemon, which is an Astonish Marwile. So honestly, quite a cool pick here. I might take a look at Astonish Marwile in the future, but either way, we're still looking fine. The opponent's going to go straight for a Power Up Punch. Don't really understand that play at all. Maybe should have at least farmed up to a potential Iron Head or something. But either way, we're going to fire off the Aqua Tail. I don't really need to. I could just commit to a full Water Gun farm down. But I realized the opponent's just going to let the moves go through. It's game over. And so we're able to take that game. So, GG's top over there into the next battle. You can see Galarian Weezing in the lead. So, we're going to Safe Swap here. Now, technically, all 3 of my Pokemon probably going to resist all of the charge moves that this Weezing has. But we might as well swap out anyways because we're going to take neutral damage from those Fairy Winds there, whereas on the Dragapult, of course, we take more damage as it's super effective. Unfortunately, they swap into Azumarill, which is one of the only times where an opponent came in with their Azu up against my Dragalge. And you're going to see, we're going to full send the Focus Blast here. We would have made it to a Gunk Shot, and we would have just taken them out there. So that is a very surprising no shield from the opponent, but I guess maybe they're expecting Outrage and Narcotel, I don't know. But either way, we're going to come in with Dragapult here. I realize I can get more energy on my Dragapult compared to Narganadel, so might as well shield up the play rough here, go for a huge Astonish farm down, coming out with so much loaded energy, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to come back in with Galarian Weezing. We're going to fire off the Breaking Swipe here. Breaking Swipe is going to be shielded, which is huge for me, and I'm still able to make it to a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to collect. It gets the KO, but they come in with a Mud Slap Extra Drill, and things are suddenly not looking too good for us here, as we're going to go for the Breaking Swipe, and that does get the KO. So we're going to come in with Narganadel here, and can we get the KO with a Dragon Claw up against the Extra Drill? It is resisted damage. These Poison Jabs are triple resisted. Dragon Claw just barely doesn't get the KO there. Super unfortunate. But the opponent will be able to take me out with a second Drill Run, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's top over there into the next battle. We're going to see a Tapu Fini in the lead. So this is fine with me. The opponent's going to stay in initially, then swap into a Mud Slap Extra Drill. Now, we're going to go straight for a Breaking Swipe here. Breaking Swipe is, of course, resisted damage, but they're probably going to shield anyways. So now we can come in with Dragalge, and I can actually go for a Water Gun farm down. However, again, this is a little bit awkward because if they come back in with the Tapu Fini, which they are very likely to do, then again, I don't have any charge moves to throw whatsoever. So they're going to come back in with the Tapu Fini, and because they're on Water Gun, and unlike Azumarill, which is on Bubble, they will actually be able to farm me down. They don't have to throw any charge moves, but we do at least grab that final shield anyways. We can now fire off an Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail not going to do much damage, but it will chip them a decent amount here. We're going to come in with Dragapult, and I'm just going to fully sacrifice it. I'm hoping that Narganadel can somehow sweep in the end game, but they still got a lot of energy on that Tapu Fini, so we are going to come in with Narganadel, and the opponent is going to make it to a charge move. I kind of just have to shield anyways. Even if it is a Surf here, which it is, I have to shield that, but they come in with a Whimsicott, and now things are looking amazing for me. Fell Stinger is going to boost up our attack. The opponent makes it to a charge move, but it's just going to be a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, double resisted, doesn't do much damage. We get the Poison Jab farm down, and the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG top over there. Into next battle, going to see Azumarill in the lead. So once again, just going to stay in this matchup here. Probably going to not throw the Shadow Ball straight away, like I did in some of the first battles, but actually the opponent goes for an Ice Beam straight away. So we're definitely going to shield this here. Going to overfarm considerably, then fire off the Shadow Ball here. Just before they make it to the next charge, but you've given me an opportunity to go for one Astonish, then swap and catch the move onto my Dragalge. The opponent goes for an Ice Beam once again, of course. We get the Water Gun farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent's going to come in with a Mud Slap Shadow Dog trio, which is not ideal for us because the Ice Beam actually put us into Mud Slap farm down range before we even make it to an Aqua Tail, so that is definitely not ideal. We're going to come back in and go straight for the Breaking Swipe here. Breaking Swipe, again, does not get the debuff. That is super, super painful for us. They go for a Mud Bomb, and they're going to come in with Galarian Weezing, and there's just not much we can do here. We're going to swap Bank the Energy. We're going to go for a Fell Stinger straight away. I kind of need to grab a shield here, but also I just need as much damage as possible, so either way, not really ideal. And again, we do resist the charge boost. However, Overheat still gets the KO. We can come in with the Dragapult, and unfortunately, we're not able to do much there as they go for an Overheat, getting the KO, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there into the final battle of this video, leading into a Fire Fang Shadow Salamence, which I showcased a few days ago, which honestly I really enjoyed, and is a great answer to a lot of the Mud Slappers that we are having trouble with this team. We're going to go and fire off the Shadow Ball. Honestly, I probably should have just baited there. Breaking Swipe, probably going to grab a shield anyways, and I kind of need that damage there because even though it is resist damage, it's going to do more damage than a resisted Aqua Tail, so yeah, might as well have just thrown that straight away. I'm not going to make it to a Focus Blast here, so I just threw an Aqua Tail, and I put them into range where hopefully we can just Poison Jab farm them down with Narganadel, but I'm actually not so sure about that. Of course, Poison Jab is going to be double resisted, and I don't think I'm getting that farm down, so we go for Fell Stinger. It looks like a CMP tie, so that actually was the right play there. Fell Stinger is going to be shielded by the opponent, so clearly they don't have a great response to Narganadel in the back, so we're definitely gonna shield, go for the farm down. They come back in with Salamence, and we're going straight for the Dragon Claw here. No messing around. They've clearly got something weak to Narganadel, and there it is, another Whimsicott. The Poison Jab's absolutely tearing through it. We get that Poison Jab farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.